Hello, and welcome back to a RiftGuides video. And today we are going to talk about Vayne in the Dragon lane, playing against a Kai'Sa and an Nautilus. It's so funny when the Kai'Sa with the skin uses her E, he just looks like it's actually Vayne. But not for laning, it's kind of rough to see that the Yuumi isn't detaching in the early game, just utilizing the early game pressure she has as a ranged champion because they can never ever die. But when it comes to Vayne's laning, she is a very, very weak champion, now getting hooked, but with a Yuumi on top of her, there's just no way they lose this. Yuumi finally detaches, and they just win. Well, if there's one law against Yuumi... Oh, what a beautiful slide cap! Okay, for you to understand, rather than going to gain distance with the tumble, Vayne tried to animation cancel the tumble into the wall to instantly reset her auto attack to deal more damage in a shorter period of time. The biggest issue during the laning phase so far here, however, is that the Yuumi never really detached early on to deal more auto attack damage, because all the Yuumi has to do is apply the healing effect once, and then it stays on the champion, and then she can just detach and auto-attack, which in early game are quite a lot of damage points onto enemy champions. And if the enemy Nautilus ever tries to all in the Yuumi, well, the Vayne will just kill them. But the biggest issue for Vayne is the laning phase. She has barely any wave clear, and trading potential is usually only around her auto-attack and her first ability auto-attack reset. However, with the power of the Yuumi here, there'll be a decent amount of damage because she's also running KRAKEN, because the Yuumi will provide the Vayne with enough attack speed. And Vayne is usually all about attack speed. But this, she's basically cheating some attack speed, which you should never have. Nice dodge by the Vayne, tumbling behind the minions because they're utilizing this very well. The Nautilus keeps on walking after her, but now he gets absolutely outspaced, and this means instant death. Oh, he has to flash away. And he's running Nimbus Cloak. And if there's one thing about Yuumi lanes that everybody needs to understand, if you do not all in and win on the all in, the Yuumi lane will out-sustain you and you will lose. Most of the Yuumis nowadays will just start with their third ability, they'll max their third ability first, and then they'll go for Harmonic Echoes. This way they'll have so much sustain that any fight that isn't instantly won is immediately over. Other options are obviously Ardent, and you can even go for Zeke's, because, well, the effect on the AD carry is quite cool if he has high AD, but in the case of the Vayne, it's not really something that you want to even normally consider. Ooh, the Twisted Fate comes around with the ultimate, but the enemy botlane isn't following up. He doesn't even come with the card. What is happening here? He just goes for a very sloppy rotation. What is happening? And, well, this could have happened in Europe as well, and now they just get a free kill because we tumble back in. It's an absolute disaster. What is Brother Nautilus doing? Well, I guess I need to take a sip of my beloved drink, sit back, and admire the goofiness of bot laners. Already quite the incident-heavy bot lane experience, but, well, we'll see some scaling eventually. Coming back to the issues, Vayne's biggest issue is having no sufficient wave clear. What really... Ooh, nice hook by the Nautilus, locking them down, but it's simply not enough damage, just gets condemned back, and now it's an absolute disaster situation once again. Ooh, nice, interesting combo. The Vayne goes into stealth and Q flashes forward to give the Kai'Sa no room to realize what has happened, and then she just instantly kills her. That's a very nice thing you can always do, and in teamfights, what you can also do as a Vayne is you can use your stealth to go for tumbles that the enemy would never expect. Because obviously, if there's a group of people chasing you, they would never expect you to go in, but you can just tumble into them. The Vayne is just doing beautiful chip damage. It would have been so nice if the Yuumi just tanked here, but nice aggro resetting while the Grace was busy clearing the minions. He just walked too close to the tower and got immediately shut down. Now we have one of the biggest item spikes for a Vayne in the game, Blade of the Ruined King. Many of you ask, why Blade, and why does no any other AD carry build Blade of the Ruined King? Okay, here's the reason. Blade has a pitiful amount of AD, and Blade has a very low percentage current HP damage. But Vayne as a champion, she needs attack speed. And she only really wants attack speed. And any other item that grants her attack speed and some damage, plus some on-it effects, is an item that Vayne really loves to have. On PC, we have an item called Ginsu's Rageblade, and this item would be one of the most broken items for Vayne that would also really help her with fixing damage issues. Because as of right, an all-in happens, nice condemn, but she gets locked on for a long amount of time, but there's so much damage coming from the Yuumi and the Vayne now that they can't burst the Vayne, meaning that the Vayne will kill the Kai'Sa in return without any problem. And we'll get another kill here because of the bonus movement speed Vayne gets while running towards enemy champions. So yeah, Nautilus, you are a goner. Okay, in this game, in WildRift, Vayne has severe damage issues, because a lot of the meta or top tier AD carries deal more damage to these tanky champions than Vayne does, even though Vayne has this true damage passive. The issue is, with Vayne, in most instances, is number one, she's a very short-range carry, making it very difficult for her to find these situations in which she can deal damage without being targeted by multiple people. Number two, all the auto attacks, apart from the third one, the empowered one with the silver bolts, deal barely any damage. And this, combined with her lack of wave clear, makes it difficult for her to maneuver in fights and therefore find footing. What people do or started doing is they went into a tankier version of Vayne that allowed her to stay close. We had this Warmorks, Amaranth Twin Guard kind of thing, which now with Tank Hydra could work as well. And then we have an Essence Reaver Kai'Sa, the all-in starts to happen, gets ulted by the Nautilus Depth Charge, walks into the brush to deny the enemy any opportunity to just go onto them, flashes through them, goes for mechanical outplay, hits them all, and Deluxe hits all of them. What an absolute sniper. And now the Twisted Fate is here. 1 HP gaming. The Yuumi doesn't want to detach to go into the tower to tank for the Vayne. He pulls the blue card. My man, blue card is not the play. But again, in this scenario, the Yuumi could have done so amazingly well by just tanking the tower for 2 or 3 shots, while the Vayne goes for a kill into the Twisted Fate. This would have been the icing on the cake. And the Lux Laser, absolutely amazing, completely sniping them into the next season. And now we have Phantom Dancer. Phantom Dancer, again, an item that not many AD carries are building, because the item doesn't provide you with a lot of damage, in the sense of raw AD. And the attack speed bonus is usually basically the same as running lethal tempo. You see, Vayne isn't running lethal tempo here, so yeah. And in most cases, hitting the enemy 3 or 4 times instantly kills them. And other utility items provide you with better benefits than Phantom Dancer in most instances would. But for Vayne, it's again another special case because the movement speed as well as the attack speed synergize really well with the entire kit and how Vayne wants to be played. Another item that you should really look into this game is QSS. QSS, there we go. QSS denies the enemy ability to lock you down, which then in return allows you to deal more damage. And even though the item doesn't do damage itself, it will allow you to deal more damage, and therefore this pickup right now is essential towards winning the game. Nautilus is just getting into positions where it should never be, is 100 gold only, getting absolutely destroyed here. Nice binding by the Lux, nice ultimate by the Malphite, barely out of tower range, and it's simply not enough. It's just a farming season. Just collecting these kills, just farming them in Chinese 5Q. The Yuumi actually goes for Staff of Flowing Water, which is kind of peculiar because you would think that any other item like Ardent or Harmonic Echo would do well a lot more in like the first purchase than the Staff of Flowing Water would, because the cooldown on Vayne I don't think is as important, and well, since Yuumi doesn't really have the best AP scalings, the item's effect doesn't really help her too much, outside of getting more haste. But yeah, I'm just a huge Harmonic Echoes fan. What can you do? Item is broken, and Malphite, The Rock, cosplaying The Rock, standing around, not being able to achieve anything, Yuumi just pressing ult for fun, and just getting this mid lane tower for absolutely free. But taking this tower, outside of, like, the only reason you would ever take this tower this early is because you want to get rid of the Nexus Shield, because on your next push you would end the game. But getting this tower is actually a big disadvantage. You're losing 1 lane of income. Nice sidestep or miss by the Malphite. Ultimate, there's just no way she actually lived. She is so ridiculously fat and has a Yumi on her lovely little cheeks that she just doesn't die. She got absolutely blasted by everything that was on the enemy team, and she still survives. And yeah, this entire play made no sense. There was no reason to be here, because there's so much money in the side lanes, and again, coming back to the point I made earlier, you really do not want to take mid lane inhibitor early unless you want to take down the Nexus shield, because you will finish on the next push. Because you're giving the enemy one entire lane of free farm while you lose everything there, and every single play can be staged through mid lane, so you're not even gaining anything. That's one of the issues. And what is the enemy doing? Like, all like playing Air. I'm getting caught by the Lux binding here. Nautilus Look comes in. The enemy isn't committing. What is happening? Now the Malphite commits onto a target that's not even valuable. The Lux dies instantly. Now it's a flanking situation. He just cleans up, goes in patiently. Just look how he plays the game. He waits for the enemy cooldowns to be completely drawn, and then he just tumbles in, goes into the middle of the enemy team because there's no more threats available, and he just gets them killed. And he doesn't even want to finish. He doesn't want to finish. He wants to go for another round. He didn't have enough already. He wants more. Now he picks up the Triforce, which it synergizes pretty well with the champion's kit. Number 1, it has attack speed. Number 2, it has a decent amount of AD. And number 3, because you are using so many spells with your Tumble, the Spellblade passive will help you deal a lot more damage than other items would. And while the item grants you movement speed. So all of the items he has picked up by now provide him with movement speed, making his life a lot better. And as for boots, for example, Gluttonous Grease. Since your champion does true damage as well as physical... Oh, there's a fight happening. The Malphite ults over the corner. It's getting really difficult here. Another spell hits him, but there's no damage dealers close yet, so you can just kite backwards and keep on auto-attacking, playing it absolutely insane. The enemy simply doesn't have the tools to get to him unless the Kai'Sa jumped onto him instantly earlier. There's no way they can ever kill the Vayne. If you lack damage and the enemy Vayne has a Yumi on top, she will just get you killed. It's just a matter of time. If you can't burst the Yumi champion, you will disappear, and then it's just over for you. And with that, we're at the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, have fun playing WildRift. See you soon, ladies and gentlemen. And make sure to come back for more.